So we'll pull this one. This is from a Facebook user. So my kid's mom filed 2 false DCS. I'm assuming that's probably Department of Child Services. So we'll just say CPS, or out here it's Child and Family Services, cases against me. Both were closed out as unsubstantiated, and the court still temporarily suspended my visitation. So
Wow.
when you have a client who, typically judges are going to err on the side of caution, and if there's an allegation with any teeth to it in regards to the safety of the children, they're not going to be afraid to, in an ex parte manner, strip visitation. In the state of Indiana, how do you go about getting that father back that visitation?
Um, I from my experience, if a DCS case has been unsubstantiated, the court is going to err on another court's ruling to decide that it must have not been enough to show that this father has done something that is neglectful or abusive. And so the areas in which I practice, or the counties in which I practice, I have not seen that happen a lot. So that's really different for me to read this particular Facebook user's comment that his parenting time was stripped away from him. But I can say that there may be situations where, even if DCS unsubstantiated it, but there are allegations that the children and the dad are just, battling each other, that there needs to be some type of counseling between the children. I can see where a judge, which has happened in some of my cases, where the judge says, listen, I'm not going to strip you from your parenting time, but I'm going to order that you and the child get counseling together. And as you guys get counseling together, I'm going to allow you guys to build back more parenting time and overnights. But just to strip the parenting time, I haven't seen that happen.
Unfortunately, here in California, if there's any teeth at all, and it's very lopsided. I see it a lot more where we provide allegations against mom that have teeth and they don't do anything, but make allegations about dad or his family or his living situation, and they'll strip it away. And there are instances where you don't get another court date, where it's just kind of floating out there. So in those situations where you end up doing nothing is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
This is the case, if you have 2 false report or 2 cases that were deemed unsubstantiated, so they did not find any evidence to support, most of these organizations, they're called different things in different states. I think colloquially we refer to them as CPS. Unsubstantiated means they didn't find evidence.
Right.
And they don't say it didn't happen. They just say there's no evidence that it occurred. You need to get back in front of a judge and say, hey, this was the reason you got rid of my parenting time. It was unsubstantiated. I need it back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So dads run into this issue, and I think it's a societal thing. I think dads are always, whether it be 2 months or 2 years behind on just acting. I think it was most obvious coming out of COVID, dads paying child support that had lost their jobs. In California, you can't go backwards. You can only modify from the date of filing forward. So these dads come to me and they're 18 months out of work, and they haven't been able to pay child support. They're like, hey, what can we do about the last 18 months? Well, unfortunately, statutorily, nothing, but we can modify it moving forward.
Yeah, and that's the thing here.
Do something.
Do
something. At minimum, like I said, the judges a lot of times are going to give you a little leeway, maybe if you didn't put all the right words that an attorney would put in them, but get in front of a judge. That's the only thing that essentially you're guaranteed is there's some way that you can get in front of a judge and say, hey, this is what's going on.
Yeah, and definitely, it really goes back to when you say do something, it's going back to using your resources, getting on the internet. There are templates, at least for the state of Indiana, out there that will walk you through. I mean, it's already filled out. You just have to kind of put your name in and then put a little blurb of what you want to bring into the issue into court. And please don't forget the proposed order, because I have seen where individuals will fill out their motion to modify, but they didn't attach or complete the proposed order, so the judge can make a ruling to set a hearing date, and the judge will do nothing with your motion because you didn't include a proposed order. But I'm telling you, if you're hungry enough and you're desperate enough to see your child, just read through the process. At least here in Indiana, as I said, we have templates, and you can get into that court very easily.
In California, it's even easier. We're a form-based family court practice. So you don't even have to format your own document. You can
Yeah.
find a form, and all you have to do is submit that form, and that's good enough to get you a court hearing. Um, and so, and I want to kind of rail back because I think this is something that's very important. What is a proposed order?
Yeah. So a proposed order is simply stating to the court, will you grant me a court hearing? That's all it
Mm-hmm.
is. And it's an order that the court will simply say, hey, I'm going to grant you this court hearing, and the court hearing is going to be scheduled for April 15th at 2 p.m. in courtroom 2B. That's simply what it is. It's nothing deep or in deep depth or a lot of legalese in it. It's simply a form or an order which the court actually puts the actual court date to appear in court.
Yeah. And here in California, it may be a little different. In Indiana, it's typically we'll tell the judge in bullet point form essentially exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Because of the things mentioned above, we are going to request that you do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And it succinctly says this is why we're here, this is what we're asking for, and kind of puts it in the judge's court. Right? That's probably a bad term to use. I'm using a basketball term. We got two Indiana attorneys on here, and Indiana and Purdue are playing basketball right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm a Hoosier alum, so before we got on, that's what I was